Karthik, can we wait for 5 more minutes for other people to join?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Today we are going to learn about the technical writing. Can I quickly have my high five? High five, everyone. High five, guys. Good evening. Can you hear me? Yes, Nanda, high five. Yes. Okay. Today we are going to learn about technical writing. So I want you to spend the next 5 minutes on trying to write. Okay. I'm going to put a small picture on the screen and switch on the timer. Okay. So you have the 5-minute timer here. You have to write 3 sentences from this graph. The time starts now. Last 2.5 minutes. How many of you have completed? If you have completed, please raise your hands. I want a volunteer to proceed. Please raise your hands. I'm going to wait. I want a volunteer to proceed. Guys, please come forward. Who wants to go first? Shall I pick a volunteer? Okay, I'm giving you 2 more minutes time. Okay, let us take 2 more minutes to complete it. Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, I'm just putting a graph here. I want you to just see and write 3 statements. 3 simple statements. Put your statements on the QA block. Last 10 seconds. I want you to please focus and write. I'm just asking you to write 3 sentences. Okay, the time is up. I have given enough time. We cannot proceed without a volunteer. Has anyone completed writing? I want you to please raise your hands or put your sentences in the box. Okay, I've got some responses. Sorry, I didn't see it earlier. Okay, Nanda says the graph shows about children and their activities. Okay, Nanda, I wanted 3 lines. Okay, I've got your other lines. The graph shows about their children and activities. Most of the children interested in music, least number of children interested in cricket. Very, very well written. Vignesh, you have said the graph shows that we are spending more time on music rather than cricket. Football is played more often than cricket. The cricket and art having minimum difference in spending. Vignesh, you seem to have a good observation on what is there on the graph, but you need to refine your writing style a little bit more. Okay. Uh, so I want, I'm just repeating it so that everyone gets it. So the graph here is about the number of children and what is their favorite activity. Okay. So when we see this graph, we can say very simple things, right? Let me take the notepad. Okay, I'm just going to keep the notepad next to the graph so that we can see and write. Okay, so now I have a graph which talks about the graph presents the children preferences of activities. First அந்த graph என்ன சொல்லுது அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம், right? Then we can go for finer points, right? Most of the children like music, right? Football appears to be the second favorite activity. Cricket is the least favorite according to the graph. If you have to write a technical writing, right? This is a little difficult compared to the creative writing that we practiced. Or no? Did anyone find that difference? Was this difficult compared to the creative writing that we did? Did anyone find the difference? Did you find it difficult? Can I have a hands up? Okay, if you are not able to understand this, I need you to raise questions. Use the QA box. Someone has given a thumbs up to my question, a thumbs down to my question. Please enter your question in the question box. Eril Amal, do you want to ask any questions? I'm allowing you to talk. Eril? 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 Okay. Right. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands or put it in the QA box. Right. So I said yesterday that we will get into technical writing from this session. Right. We are going to learn something called as professional writing. We will cover two types of documents in this topic. One is the report writing. Second one is the documentation writing, right? So when you think of yourself as a software engineer, okay, how many of you want to get into an IT role? How many of you want to get into an IT job? Can I have thumbs up? How many of you? Folks, please answer. Okay. Do you know what is the primary work that you will do when you get into a new IT job? Is anyone aware of that? Can anyone tell us? What will be your role as a primary IT engineer. Say you have joined a company as a fresher. What will be your primary role? Do you have any idea? If you say you don't know, I can help. But you have to tell me whether you know or not. Okay. Before we start getting into documentation or technical writing, I'm going to tell you what will be. Okay. Some of you have said don't know in the chat. Okay. I'll tell you what is going to be your primary role. Okay. As a fresh graduate, okay, it is not that you will start into typing codes from day one. Okay. You will have a multiple set of work. Okay, a part of it is testing, which might include test case writing and documentation, reporting, which might require you to create reports in Word or Excel. Third, you will have documentation and management, where you create documents for your project. Okay, and then a little bit of coding depending upon your job. If you see, 60% of your work will be documentation. When I say documentation, documentation means generating formal, professionally written documents which are for sharing information with a lot of other people. Okay. So we are going to start with one document first, which is the reporting document. Okay. Before I start that, I will tell you something very quickly. Okay. Is the role of a fresh tester clear? Do you understand what will be your role now? Is the role clear? Any questions? Okay. So first, I will start with documentation and reporting. I'll give you a quick introduction and then we will proceed. Okay. Documentation. When you say documentation, it refers to recording or documenting our activities or process. நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம், நம்ம வந்து ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் வேலையை பண்றதுக்கு என்னென்னலாம் செய்யறோம் அப்படின்றத ஒரு நோட்ல எழுதி வச்சுட்டோம்னா that is called documentation. If you record whatever activities that you are doing in your company for completing a particular task, right, then that means you are documenting. Okay. So why should I do documentation? I am the person who is doing all the activity. Why should I document it? நான் பண்றதே எதுக்கு நான் எழுதி வைக்கணும்? Why should I document it? Why do you think we need to document everything? Please answer. Write your answer in the QA box or raise your hand. I'll unmute you. But please interact. Why do you think we should document? Why do you think we should document? What is the purpose of documentation? I'm giving you 10 seconds. Yes. Vignesh, very good, Vignesh, for sharing information with others. Okay, very good, well said. Anyone else? Okay, So whenever we think of documentation, documentation is an important tool to share information. So if you ask me, who will create a document? Multiple people will create it. Right? Because as a tester, you will create a document. As a developer, the development team will create a document. As a project team, the project managers will create a document. So documents will be created by multiple people. So if multiple people are creating a document, who will use it? Again, the answer is, multiple people. Which can be the project team, the development team, the testing team, the customer, right? The top management, everyone inside the organization, and sometimes the customers can use the document that we create. So whenever we think of documentation, documentation is a formal record of our activities which we want to share with people around us. It is the formal way of creating a record of whatever we are doing. Right? Is it okay? Is it okay? Is it clear till here? Is it clear, children? Okay. So, Saroja, your answer is also right. Documents can be for you created for future reference. I will come to that point now. Tired? For remembering and storing data over a period of time, yes. All documents are stored over a period of time until it is necessary for the company. Okay. For the same reason, Saroja's point is valid. Documents are for future reference. Why do I say future references? Because, see, we all work in a company, right? It is not that we are going to work in the company forever. Okay. Today I might be there. Tomorrow I might find some another job, or I may be promoted to another division. So how will the next person who is coming to take up my role know what I did or how to do a particular activity? For that reason, documents are very important. Documents record what we do. They act as a reference for future, and they are important information that multiple people will use. Is this clear? Any questions? Can I have some thumbs up, please? Is it clear? Okay. See, the problem with one-way interaction, that too when there is no video or face-to-face presence, is that I cannot understand whether you are able to grasp my point or not. Okay. I want everyone to keep in your mind that instead of watching your favorite show or instead of going out for a walk, you are here in this session and you have sacrificed your free time, learn something. So give your best. Only if you involve yourself in this 1 hour, you will be able to learn more. Otherwise, it will just be like another class which you sit in the college without having any motivation. Right? Are you motivated? Can you say yes in the chat? Are you motivated to participate? One more number of yeses. Only 2 or 3 people are constantly interacting. Others, wake up. Wake up. Okay. Good. Good. Very good. Okay. Now, we know what is the need for documentation. In documentation, we say what we did. We usually say how to do what we did. Right? But the story does not end there. What if you have to formally tell someone what happened as a result of your activity? நீ என்ன பண்ணன்னு சொல்றது வேற. Okay, explaining what you did is different. But if you have to explain what is the outcome of the activities that you did, நீ பண்ண ஸ்டெப்ஸ்னால என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்லணும்னா என்ன பண்ணுவ? You will use something called a report. Okay? A report says the outcomes of our activities. Right? So a documentation records what are all the activities we will do. Whereas the report is a representation of the outcome of the several activities that we did. This understanding between documents and reports clear? Is this clear? Okay. Now, has anyone seen a formal document? If I say document, what comes to your mind? Document in sonna enna thonudhu? What comes to your mind? Folks, what comes to your mind when I say document? Bank. Okay. Someone said bank. Okay. Others, please participate. Please answer. Okay. Whenever we hear the word document, we get reminded of the land documents. Right? So it is a formal, if you have seen a land document or a house document, right? It has a formal structure. Yes, registration. Yes, correct. If you see those documents, it has a formal structure. There will be a big heading, a seal, signature, and photos in the end. And also it will have that rupee note kind of a print in the start, right? So whenever you think of documentation, you can relate to the house document or the bank document, right? The document is a formal way of presenting information. If you take your house document or land document, right? It says where is this house? It gives the address of the house. It says who bought the house, what is his name, what is his identification number, and then who sold the house, what is her name, right? What is the identification of that person, right? And who are all the people who were the proof for that document? Witness. Similarly, all logical official documents will have its own structure, right? It will have its own structure where it will have the relevant information presented correctly. Is this clear? Is the concept of documentation clear till now? Any questions? Okay, right. Now, when we talked of documentation, we said, okay, what is document? On the other hand, if you think of a report in sonna onne enna nyabagam varudhu? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say report? Quickly, type your answers quickly. What comes to your mind when I say the word report? What comes to your mind when I say the word report? Okay, someone says medical report, science says project report, and someone says rank report. Okay, someone says project report. Okay, நீங்கெல்லாம் ஸ்கூல்ல இருந்து காலேஜுக்கு வந்துட்டீங்க. ஸோ உங்களுக்கு வந்து இப்போ ப்ராஜெக்ட் ரிப்போர்ட் அதெல்லாம் வந்து தெரியுது. But as long as we were in school, whenever we heard the word report, right, it was our report card, exam card, right? What did the school report card have? School report card என்ன இருந்தது? What was there in the school report card? Can someone tell me? Grades and ranks. Very good. So what does the grade and rank mean? If suppose it says Syed has got A grade and he is just first rank in our class, what does it mean? அதுக்கு என்ன அர்த்தம்? What does a A grade or a first rank mean? அந்த ரிப்போர்ட்ல இருக்கலாம், அந்த ரிப்போர்ட் கார்டுன்னா சொல்றோம் நம்ம, ரைட்டா? அந்த ரிப்போர்ட் கார்டுல ஏ கிரேடு, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க் அதெல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா? அதுக்கெல்லாம் என்ன அர்த்தம்? He scored highest marks. Okay, Nanda. So அதுக்கு வந்து என்ன அர்த்தம் அப்படின்னா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கரெக்ட் நந்தா சொன்ன மாதிரி, he scored highest marks. How much of marks the person has scored. On the other hand, right, it also means that for all the activities that the child has done in the school, this is the output. அவன் டெய்லி வந்தா 80% அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் வச்சிருந்தா, அவன் வந்து எல்லா கிளாஸும் அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணி அவனோட ரிசல்ட் இது அப்படின்னு சொல்றது, ரைட்? The guy came daily, the guy participated in all class activities, and so his mark is 1, 2 or 3, whatever. Just like this, a formal report is something that reflects on the output of whatever we have done inside our organization. As a software engineer, you are supposed to be experts in writing reports and also preparing documentation. Is it clear till here? Any doubts? Anyone wants to tell me more about report or documents? Any questions? Okay. Till now, we have seen what is a document, what is a report, right? Now, we are going to start off with the concept of report writing. Okay. This is a very, very important concept. I will just deliver 20 minutes of this today. I will not hurry. Okay. I want you all to take it at 6:40. It is going to be 6:40 now. I want you all to take a 5 minutes break. Okay. And come back at 6:45. We will just spend 20-25 minutes on report writing introduction. And then we will continue in tomorrow's class. Okay. Go for a 5-minute break, take a walk, drink water, or get a cup of coffee. Come and sit here. Okay. We will start in 5 minutes. It is 6:40 now. We will start at 6:45. Can we start? Are you ready to learn the most important skill? Okay. Okay. Good. That's a good amount of thumbs up. So please come to the tip of your seat. If you learn whatever we are learning today and tomorrow, your first job will be very peaceful. Okay. Right. So I said I will start with a simple report. Okay. Now, before we get into the report, I will tell you what the report is going to be. Okay. So you are a fresh engineer. You have joined the organization and you are supposed to submit your daily reports where you say what you did daily. Okay. So this is from your office system where it says for each task, what is the time you spent. Okay. So read this for a minute. Okay, it says you took 1 hour to check in and settle down. Then you did testing for 2 hours and you did coding for 2 hours. Then you were into documentation for 2 hours. Then you took a break for 1 hour and you were in meeting for 1 hour. Okay, so this is what it says. Now we are going to create a formal report using this data. Okay, using this data, right? So now I will teach you how to create a report in Word. Okay, so in Microsoft Word, we are going to create our first report. Okay, so I'm opening Word. Okay, if you open Word, right, it will tell you that there are more templates. Okay, you click on more templates and here you search for daily reports. If not, you can search for report also. Daily report did not fetch anything, we can search for report. You see a lot of report here, right? There are a lot of different styles of report. Okay, student report, business report, research report, APA is a research style, then general reports, right? Planner reports, okay? Status report. See, we have a status report here, right? You can pick any report. Okay. I'm just picking the status report. We can make changes as and how we want. Or we'll pick a simpler report. Okay. I will pick a general report. Now, we should start with a very meaningful title. Okay. What title can we give this report? Tell me. What title do you think we can give to this report? Any volunteers? Here, Nanda, Vignesh, Saroja. What title can we give this to this report? What title will be apt for this report? Yes, please respond. Title for the report. Just a title for the report. Okay. Vignesh says routine. Okay. Okay. Routine is a good word. Okay. We are not only telling about our routine, it is our work status. Okay. So we will name it as daily work status report. Okay. Right? Whenever you are typing a report, the title is the most important thing. Right? So you can say, okay, right? You can give a company name and you can give your name. Okay, I'm just saying Sai. Right? So now your front page is ready. Your front page has a day, has a formal look, and has a details of the title and others. Now, inside a report, there should always be some structure. Okay, it should have a formal title. It should have a formal subtitle. The paragraphs should be organized, and you can highlight any points that you want. Okay, so the title here is tasks for the day. Here you can say activities and time, right? So you start with a very simple way of writing where you say what this report is going to say. Okay. The daily status report presents the list of routine activities and the time spent on each activity. Right? A fresh engineer has 4 or 5 major activities like testing, coding, documentation, and stand-up meeting or meeting. Should not give any gap for subjectivity, so you can just say 4 major activities, right? So if you want to highlight anything, you can say that. Okay, you can see your report. So it says you spend most time on testing, coding, and documentation, right? So you can say, you can highlight that. You can say, I spent, or the engineer spent, or you can say the employee spent equal amount of time in coding, testing, and documentation. Now, you cannot simply say stories in a report. You have to give evidence. You have to present your evidence, right? So how will you present your evidence? So for that, the graph representing the daily activity of the employee is shown below. So you can take the graph and you can put, right? Ensure that you have pictures and graphs center formatted. Okay. And then give your graph a good name. Say figure 1. Activity and time graph. Right? Right? So this is how you create a report. It can have more figures, more tables, right? In the end, it should also have a concluding remark. Here you say the employee has been productive 70% of the day. And he has completed the tasks. Right? Okay, let's take it to the next page. Okay, he has completed the task. We assigned tasks, right? Every report should have a proper end. Right? So you have to first save the report. Okay. Basic report. All reports look very professional when you save it as a PDF. So let us see how this report looks in a PDF format. You see now, my report looks very professional. Okay. This is how you think of a basic report. Is this clear? Any questions? I cannot proceed without you telling me whether this is clear or not. Okay. Now, you saw a basic report. Okay. I have not gone into documentation yet. We will keep moving forward and backward between reports and documentation. So now that was a basic report. Okay. Now I'm going to do a documentation for this report. Okay. You just said what and all you did, right? You didn't tell how you did. Okay. For any documentation to be effective, it is important to use pictorial representation of activities. If you take any formal published reports, you will see documents, you will see a lot of pictures and diagrams. Have you seen? Have you seen? Okay. Now we are going to go into documentation. We will keep shuffling between documentation and report step by step, right? I just introduced you to basic reporting. Now we are going to get into basic documentation. Before teaching you about documentation, I want to teach you about one very particular thing, okay, which is nothing but a flow diagram. Have you heard of a flow diagram? Have you heard of a flow diagram? How many of you have heard of a flow diagram? Okay, Syed says he has heard of a flow diagram. Okay, right. A flow diagram is nothing but it is a pictorial representation. Okay, it is a pictorial representation of what we want to present in an order. Activity 1 க்கு அப்புறம் step 1 க்கு அப்புறம் step 2 வந்தது, step 2 க்கு அப்புறம் step 3 வந்தது, step 3 க்கு அப்புறம் step 4 வந்தது. step 4 ல வர அவுட்புட்டை பொறுத்து step 5 பண்ணலாம் அல்ல step 6 பண்ணலாம், right? If you have to say after each step what is the next step or the outcome of previous step, how does it decide what is the next step, then you have to use a flow diagram. If yes, very good. Flow diagram describes the process. Very good, sir. So now we are going to learn how to draw a flow diagram. Okay. For the same daily status report, we are going to prepare a document. I'm not getting into the core documentation now. I'm getting into the first step of how to do a flow diagram. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Whenever you have the possibility of presenting something, right, as a picture, please use that. Okay. It will improve your clarity on thought. You can think of a process in 1,000 words, but only if you understand the process, you will be able to draw a picture, right? So now we are going to try and draw a picture. Okay. In the daily activity, we saw that the person first checks into the office, okay? And then he goes to find his task assigned for the day. And then he goes to perform coding, after which he will perform testing. The testing, if completed successfully, will lead the employee to documentation. If the test fails, the employee goes back to the code to rectify the bug. Then he performs a retest, and on clearing, he proceeds to documentation. Post the documentation, employee takes a break and works till the tasks are completed. Okay, so this is a big story, right? You have heard this is a big paragraph. Now I have to make this a pictorial representation, right? So we said, okay, this guy is doing daily work that will cover a lot of activities: check-in, testing, coding, break, mentoring, meeting, everything, right? Now I'm going to present a diagram for this. Okay. We will start off with the options we have. The first option is to use the shapes. That you see shapes, you can use these shapes. This is the first option, right? The second option is to use smart art. If you are talking about sequential process or steps that happen one after the other, then you can use smart art, right? Now I am going to have a process diagram that involves various steps. Okay, not just the sequence. It is not a list. I need to check for certain conditions before proceeding to the next step. So I am going to use the shapes. So ovals indicate the start and stop. So I will use the oval first, right? To say check in. Okay. We will check in first, right? He starts the day by coming to the office. Then he will proceed to understand, view the daily tasks assigned. Once he knows the task, right, then he will start with his work. What will he do first? The paragraph said he will start with coding, right? So he starts with writing the code. So you can say writing the code. Once the code is written, he has to test it, right? So he has to create test cases. Then he will do test case. Sorry, we have to change the box here. We put the decision box. Okay, test case execution. Okay, or you can say test execution. Okay. Okay. Then the paragraph said if the test execution is successful, he will proceed with documentation. Right? So documentation. If not, he has to perform retests or go back to the coding phase and continue all over. Once he is completely done, he will spend his time on meeting. And then he will stop. Right? Now we have just drawn the steps. We need to draw the connections. Right? So I'm saying insert arrow. So once he checks in, he will go and check the daily task. Right? And then he will go and start writing the code for the task. And then he will create test cases to test the task for the code that he has written. Right? And then he will go for test case execution. Here there are two possibilities. If the test case is a success, it has executed successfully, right? If success, he will go for documentation. On the other hand, if it is not succeeded, right? The test case has not succeeded, then he has to go back to the writing phase where he has to correct. Okay. Right. And then he will have to go through the rest of the steps. If he has reached documentation, he can go to the rest of the day's meeting and then eventually leave the office. Right? So if you see this full paragraph, right, which is difficult to read, now has become a beautiful single page diagram. Okay. This is the fundamental unit of documentation. When you say documentation, you start with using as many pictures and representations as possible so that it is easy for everyone to understand. Okay, this is the fundamentals of documentation. Any questions? Any questions? Are we awake or have we slept? Okay. Okay, someone says thumbs up. Okay, I'll take that as you have understood. So, given that we have been traveling for more than an hour, right? I'm going to quickly give a summary and stop the session for today. So, the summary for today is we started off with introducing you to writing a technical write-up from a graph. We said that technical writing is of two types, can be documentation or reporting. Documentation explains to everyone, the readers, on the processes that you had taken up to perform a set of activities, whereas reports, on the other hand, explain what is the output of the activities that you did. For the documentation purpose, we created a very simple basic document which said, okay, this is the daily task of my engineering employee. He came inside, he did activity A, B, C, and D, and he has completed his today's task. On the other hand, when we came to the documentation part, I said the first step is to use relevant pictures or diagrams to explain your process. So for that, you need to understand the process very, very well, right? So the first thing that we did was writing the set of steps in a text, and we tried to draw a simple process diagram, process flow chart, right, for our text. So today we learned about what is the different common major forms of technical writing. We started off with a basic report. We have moved to basic documentation. In tomorrow's class, we will again continue reports and documentations, but tomorrow's class will be a game, and then we will proceed with the class. Okay, tomorrow also it will be from 6 to 7:30. So I request you all to please be prepared. We will have a 5 minutes break in between, just like how we did today. So I want everyone to please participate. I see the numbers have gone down. Please encourage your friends who are enrolled into the program to continue participating. For soft skills, only if you practice and talk, you will be able to learn. Okay. Any questions? Please leave your feedback in the chat. Any questions? Feedbacks? Was the session useful? Were you able to keep track of the session? Folks? Okay, I've got one yes and a thumbs up. Okay, Nanda says useful. Okay, okay. Okay, Priya says yes. Okay. So for tomorrow's session, before you come, okay, find a newspaper, right? And bring a technical article. Like for example, I will present a news article for you. It would be better if you have your article so that you can try to write a report based on that. Okay. So have a good day. I will meet you again tomorrow. Please continue to attend the sessions. Do not miss these sessions. Okay. Okay. I hope the session was useful. Thank you for your time.